Whether you've been recently laid off, unemployed for months, or just can't seem to catch a break no matter what you do and what you try, what I can tell you for sure is that job loss hits differently after 40, doesn't it? And it doesn't matter if you're over 40, overqualified, or just plain over it. And here's the truth, and let's be real. Nobody tells you what to expect and what it's like to actually lose a job, especially in this particular economy. Under the current administration, I will not name his name, and his parties, as well as what's really going on just in this climate altogether, the economic downturn, the massive job layoffs, so on and so forth, it has gotten really real out here for a lot of people. No one prepares us for what it's really like to be unemployed, especially in this economy at this big old age, okay? Once you've hit 40 and in your 50s and 60s and beyond, and you're still at that point where you're not quite old enough to actually retire, right? You haven't gotten there yet, but you've been laid off unexpectedly, terminated, fired, discharged, kicked to the curb, pink slipped, reduction in force, whatever the case might be. As in my case, I've been all of those things, all of those apply to me. And I've also been laid off at a time when I was under medical care. I had taken off time to take care of myself, and I had taken a medical leave of absence. I know firsthand what it's like, trust and believe me. And especially if you are not just a woman over 40, but a Black woman. If you identify as a woman of color or a Black woman, I am here to tell you that it is a whole other type of stress, invisible stress, shame, and a silence that you just, like you suffer in silence and you don't necessarily share with other people what your struggles are, right? And so this is what I need you to hear me on, sis, and I need you to hear me clear. Just because you are currently broke doesn't mean you are broken. And don't let the status of being broke break you. And just because you are laid off doesn't mean you are lazy. Okay? So let's just get that out the way. But here's the thing, you deserve support and you have more options than you think. And so, as someone like myself, as I alluded to earlier, who has been laid off, laid flat, and laid bare, what I can tell you is I know for sure exactly what it feels like to be in your shoes right now. And that's why we are having this conversation today, because it could feel like you start to question your worth when the job is gone, but the bills keep coming, right? And I also know what it's like, though, and what it takes to rise and to rebuild from ground zero, because I've done it a time or two, or three or four. I don't know. I've lost count. Okay. But trust and believe. And I'm making light of a heavy situation because I want to not only bring a smile to your face today, but I'm hoping that this video, in fact, I know it will actually bless someone. Now, today in this episode, we're going to specifically be talking about 5 steps for you to bounce back after layoff. Okay. Why women over 40, especially women of color, have very unique career challenges. I'm also going to be sharing with you in this video what I did and what I learned from my first layoff. We're going to talk about that because that was a whole experience. Okay, I want to share that with you. How to stop relying on just one sole income. And right now that income is just your job, which is keeping you what? As I always say, and as you may have heard, just over broke. That's not cute, and especially at our age, right? But I want you to also know that you can have and create for yourself a more stable future. So we're going to talk about that as well and what the steps are to take for that. I'm also going to give you some resources. I'm going to talk to you about my affiliate partnership and some things that you can be thinking about yourself, just really when it comes to how I can support you directly and meet you where you are in the journey right now and help you with the career pivot. Okay. And I'll give you my affordable options the support that I'm offering right now with my Freedom and Focus Clarity call. We're going to talk about that. So here's the thing. It's easy to internalize this when it's happening to you, but I want you to right now, it is time to stop internalizing corporate rejection and start reclaiming your power. Stop accepting what corporate delivers as your truth, and the way that they, as a system, a broken system at that, can make you feel, especially when you've been looking and looking and looking and searching high and low and doing all the things you know to do. Whereas before it was so easy for us to get another job like that, right? In fact, as soon as you would get laid off or terminated or fired, or if you just wanted to walk away from the job yourself, you can just go and get another job. But that is not the climate we are living in right now. And so it's a very different world right now. Okay. And in the AI and the world of AI, right? We're in the age of AI right now. That's another thing that just compounds the problems and kind of like just flips things on its head when it comes to, like, it doesn't matter how much effort we're putting forth, because at the end of the day, that is part of the reason why some people are being let go. But then there's just other reasons too, like budgetary constraints, right? And things that are beyond some of the company's control. But also, these decisions, just so you're aware, are not just made all of a sudden. Like, they didn't just go into a meeting and say, oh my God, we're going to have to lay off a lot of people. These things, these layoffs are planned well in advance. And we're going to get into that part of the conversation too. So, by the way, this video was inspired by Budget Treasures, her channel. I think her name is Jasmine, and I hope that that is her name, because I don't want to, gosh, now that I'm saying that, I believe it's Jasmine. Okay, and if it's not Jasmine, forgive me. I believe it's Jasmine. Jasmine has a channel called Budget Treasures, which I love. And I happened to be one of her videos came up on my feed recently. And in that video, she was responding to another video that another creator made by the name of, and I don't know this creator's first name, but I believe her channel is called Life and Numbers. So shout out to Jasmine, I believe, or I'll just say Budget Treasures and Life in Numbers. Let's show them some love. Let's head over there. If you're not familiar, after you're done watching my video and hear what I have to say, because I'm going to put a little spin on this conversation, right? And do it boss chick style, the way I do over here. But I do really want to show these creators in their community some love, because I was watching both of their videos, because Budget Treasures did a video in response to the other creator's video. And in that, in both of these videos, I watched them right all the way through. And then I went through and saw some of their comments, read some of their comments. And it was just heartbreaking to know how many women, people in general, this is affecting. So I really want to bless someone today. This isn't a video topic I was even getting ready to record. It just hit my heart and soul, and it broke my heart. And I was like, you know what? I've got to say something. I got to speak up, and I got to share my story as well, as I often do here, to help another, fellow creator, but also those in our community here who are affected right now, negatively impacted in the biggest way, right? And going through this right now. So let's again go show these creators some love. I'm going to leave the link to both of these videos in the description box. So like I said, after you're done listening to the sound of my voice and watching my video, and listen, get a pen and paper. Okay, I'm going to be dropping nuggets as I always do, and I never disappoint. So you'll want to have something to write with, because I'm going to give you some really insightful and thoughtful, very, strategic, some information that you could take with you, but some strategic moves that you can make so you can get into radical action and literally change your whole entire circumstance and predicament as it stands right now, okay? Because you are in control. Why? Because you are the boss of you, and we got to put you back into the driver's seat so you can become the CEO of your life, okay? Now, whether you're new to me or true to me, by the way, welcome or welcome back. Katrina Marie here, also known as the Boss Chick Biz Coach and your fearless legacy leader. I am a holistic business coach and an RN health and wellness educator, and I teach high achieving women over 40 how to leave their corporate careers, how to exit out of corporate America, heal from toxic jobs, fight their way to freedom if you're dealing with a hostile work environment, and build aligned and profitable online brands and businesses without sacrificing your soul and sanity or compromising your health and happiness. At the height of my career, by the way, as a six-figure earner, I left the workforce and I never looked back. After being in corporate America for 3 whole decades. So I did my time, okay? I did 30 years. And I did that in exchange for my freedom. And so now that's exactly what I do as a holistic business coach, RN health and wellness educator, and freedom strategist is I help women just like you do the same. So I'm going to go ahead and get into just some teaching methods, okay? So you can get a little taste of, my holistic approach, because holistic success is what my channel really is all about. And so in everything I do, be it teaching you how to leave a job, heal from a job, like cut the cord for good, or build a business that's in alignment with your passion and purpose, but connected to a profitable problem. Integrated in all of that is holistic well-being. Okay, that is how we create holistic success, because it is my personal belief and philosophy that in order to expedite our external success, we have to heal internally first, all of those broken parts and pieces. And a job, if you let it, and sometimes if it's happened to you again and again and again, as was in my case, it can break you. It can break your spirit, right? And it can break you financially if you are ill prepared, as I was the very first time. Now, I'm going to give you a framework. I call it the 5 R's to career recovery. Okay, the 5 R's to career recovery. But before we really get into this is what I want you to hear, and I want you to listen up close as we go through this entire process. You cannot build the dream while you are drowning in survival mode. Okay, right now you might be drowning in the dream. And I have a whole entire video around that, by the way, in case you're interested in watching it, drowning in the dream. But let's not do that, okay? Let's get our priorities straight. And that's what I'm going to help you do by giving you the 5 R's to your career recovery. First thing we got to do is reset our mindset. Now, y'all know if you're not new to me and you've been following me and rocking with me for a minute, you know what time it is and how we do over here. We got to talk about the mindset first, okay? The mindset shift is in everything we do. The first thing I want you to do is take a breath, pause, and reflect, because this isn't about you. The decision that was made to let you go was not about you, so don't take it personal. This was a business decision that could feel personal, but it really isn't. Now, dare I say, okay, and I'll play devil's advocate for a little minute here. It could be true that if they wanted you out anyway, they played their cards right? So maybe it was personal, right? And maybe they couldn't find a reason to let you go. So when they went through this whole process, they found a reason to be able to let you go with a bunch of other people, especially if they deem you as someone as a problematic child, right? As I call it, or a problematic employee, like the problem child is what I meant to say. So I don't know what your personal situation is, if you've had any substandard reviews, or, you were, a most valuable player and one of the top, a very good employee and an asset to the company and to the department. That could have very well be the case. In either case, it could be that they were trying to find a reason to let you go, and here it is, right? Your day has come. Or you are a great employee, but they still had to let you go for whatever other reasons. In either event, what I want you to do is release the guilt and shame around unemployment, because it happens to the best of us, no matter what your situation is, no matter what type of employee you are, you can be one of the greatest employees, impeccable record, showing up every day, great track record, no calling out, like perfect attendance, right? The only time you take off is when you've accrued enough PTO, or maybe, and even you come in when you're sick, like who knows, like you could be one of the absolute best employees and one of the most valuable players, as I said, and they will still let you go. So just release that and know that it's not necessarily anything personal. But I also want you to know that you're not your last paycheck, okay? And you're not your last position. And this will not be the last position you get, no matter how tough it seems right now and how challenging times are. I know you're going through a tumultuous time. Trust me, I do really know, and I feel your pain, but it does get better from here. You will find something. Trust and believe that, and hold on to unwavering faith, knowing that, okay? You're in a transition right now. You are not in failure mode, okay? Survival mode, yes, but we're going to talk about how to get you out of that so that you can thrive and never allow this to happen to you again. But I also want you to see this as an empowering move that you can actually make, and how you can flip this on its head and take control and do what you may have always dreamed of doing and never had time for, or never thought you could. And now this is the perfect opportunity. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing I want you to do is research. Research is important. I want you to research your resources, because there are companies out there, and I'll name a few, Adecco being one of the biggest players in the game, and they are like an umbrella company for other companies under them. LHH is another one that's housed under Adecco. And then there's a company like Respirus. I am affiliated with all of these companies, and I'll tell you more about them later. But I wanted to mention those, as well as local workforces, and local workforce centers, and unemployment benefits. Of course, there are grants out there, there are scholarships out there. I want you to do your due diligence, do your research, and start looking up these companies and asking your employer. Okay, well, if you know you're going to be laid off and you haven't gotten let go yet, and even if you've already gotten your layoff notice, if you're still in connection somehow with your employer who laid you off or who will be laying you off on a particular date, okay, then I want you to ask them if they are partnered with any company. It may be another company that I didn't name. I was just giving examples, but are they partnered with a company who does outplacement? Okay, because you might not even know that you're entitled to and eligible for a benefit such as that. Okay, outplacement is the service. And so these companies usually partner with corporations like, big names, like any company that is like considered a Fortune 500 company, a Fortune 100 company, a Fortune 50 company. And even some smaller corporations will partner with companies such as LHH, Respirus, Adecco, and such, to help employees who are displaced workers, right, who've just recently been laid off for whatever reason and to need help finding another job. Like, they have the whole kit and caboodle, right? The whole enchilada. Like, they will help you from start to finish to make the transition as you are leaving one job into going into, another similar role, or to help you to start a business, to help you with a portfolio career, and all sorts of other, help you update your resume, to, give you a bunch of resources that you might not be aware of or know that, you have access to. So those resources are readily available to you if those companies, a company like who you might be working for, that are partnered with those companies that I named. Okay, so ask the question. Many women don't even realize they are qualified for this type of outplacement services or resume support. So that would be a question that you need to ask your company, your corporation, if you are in fact looking for these types of services, especially if you're wanting to go to another job or another employer. The third thing I want you to do is reinvent your strategy. Reinvent your strategy, okay? Don't just job search, soul search. Okay, that's something I had to learn. I was a job hopper. So in the 30-year tenure of my career, I went from job to job to job. I stayed about a year or two on average. The longest job I've ever had was 4 years, and that was in my young 20s, okay? So you can only imagine, right, how many jobs I must have had in my long span of my career. So at some point, I had to realize that I needed to do some soul searching to find out what it was I really wanted to do. So take some time to soul search. But also, I really had to reflect and do some soul searching when I was let go. And in a very short period of time, like I had made it through nearly like over 2 decades in my career before I actually had my first layoff. And I'll talk to you about that here shortly. But number 3 is reinvent your strategy. Okay. Don't, what do you actually want next? What do you want out of your career? What do you want out of life? Right. So think about what that is and start writing things down and journaling and start working with a coach. Okay. Who can actually help you hash through the details of this and sort things out and unconfuse you if you're confused and help you to navigate through the chaos of all of the compunction, right? Like get the help and the support that you need. Look into bridge jobs and freelancing and portfolio careers. In fact, I actually have a whole video because I can't dive deep. I want to keep this video at I don't want to make this video too long and we're already at about 20 minutes. I want you to watch this video and I'll make sure this particular video is going to come up right at the end here, just so you can have something to reference. And I go deep into giving you examples and what a portfolio position is, what a bridge job is, why you need it, and why it's important as you're making an exit strategy or transitioning from your career to business or from one career to another, whatever the case might be in your situation. So watch that video next, okay? But here's the thing, if your only income is from a job, which right now it probably is, right? You're already in a financial fragile position. Like I mentioned earlier, just having one source of income is very risky. I talk about that a lot on my channel. And a job is really meant to keep you just over broke. Okay. So just make sure that you're not setting yourself up for failure, but rather setting yourself up for success. Now, before we get any deeper, if you're loving these gems I'm dropping, right? Like if you're getting what I'm giving and you love these gems I'm dropping, leave a comment below right now so we can get this discussion popping. Let me know where you are in the journey. Have you just been recently laid off? Have you been laid off for months and you can't find a job and you're still unemployed? What's your situation right now? Do share and make sure that let me know what you're finding, what's hitting on those, pulling on those heartstrings, what's hitting home, and what do you find most valuable in this video. If you are enjoying my episodes, peruse around my page and see what's applicable to you. But if you are and you are feeling my vibe and want to become a part of my tribe, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a single episode whenever I drop new content and or go live. Okay. All right. Now, number 4, I believe is where we left off. Yes, reinvent was the last one. That was number 3. Number 4 is rebuild your income. Okay, so I alluded to this just shortly ago, and we're going to watch the video that I just told you about so you can understand what bridge jobs are and portfolio positions are, so you can build a more diversify your income streams. Okay, that's what's key. Now, start with what's in your hand, the lowest hanging fruit. I always say start with coaching and consulting because you have the skill base already. You're already an expert in your industry. You just need to learn what transferable skills you have and package yourself up as an industry leader, and then know how to position yourself, build your brand, promote your offer, right? And profit from it, like monetize your God-given gifts, your talent, your sweat equity, your years of experience, your education, package that all up and put yourself out there. Okay. And I can show you exactly how to do that. You can even sell digital products. Okay. If you want more of a passive income, online courses, ebooks, templates, whatever, there's so many. So just do an assessment, take inventory of your skills, your transferable skills, okay, hard and soft skills, and exactly what you can do, what comes easily and natural for you, and what do you love to do. Like you can do this thing, whatever it is, without even getting paid for it because you love it so much. And maybe you've been doing it as a hobby, as a passion project, but now it's time to turn that passion project into a paid opportunity. What is that? Okay. So look at affiliate marketing, look at consulting, gig work, part-time contract work, And I can talk to you about some of those options as well if you jump on a call with me. Okay. And I'll talk to you about how you can get in touch with me so that I can go deeper with what your specific situation and scenario is. And I can help you with where you are. Like I said, meet you where you are in the journey. Right now, this is kind of a broad overview, a high level overview that may be applicable to you, and may not necessarily, like everything I touch on may not apply to you necessarily, and I might miss something that may be specific to your needs right now. So I just want to make sure that if you do really need further support, that you hop on a call with me so we can hash that out, okay? And I can give you a personalized game plan. All right. Speaking of which, that's a great segue leading into my clarity call. So I mentioned earlier my freedom and focus clarity calls. I will leave the link to the link to that, to book a call with me on my calendar in the pinned comments, as well as in the description box, so that you can have access to me. And if we decide to work together and go deeper, you want a deeper transformation, I can talk to you about other ways in which I can support you as well. But right now, all you need to do is just hop on a call with me so that, again, we can give you some clarity around your situation and a personalized game plan so you know exactly what your next best aligned move is. All right. So, and this is a great way, by the way, this is like an affordable option for you, a low cost entry to barrier, or barrier to entry. I think I said that backwards. So that if you're not able to work with me and get that deeper transformation right now by applying for my higher tiered, more expensive coaching offers, that's okay, because this is an offer you absolutely can afford, and you can't afford not to get on a call with me if your situation is anything that I described so far in this episode. Okay. What number are we on? 5. Rise with a plan. Rise with the plan, number 5. Okay. We're not going to make this too much longer, okay? But stick with me. Stick with me. And if you're here right now still, then this is something that I know you're taking seriously, and it's very important to you. So thank you for being here, because I really want to help you. Again, as I started off in this video when I first spoke, I said I wanted to bless somebody, and this is perhaps can change everything. Okay. One call could literally change everything for you. All right. So, rise with a plan. What do I mean by that? I mean, whether it's you starting a business or finding a new, more aligned career, or you are turning that project, passion project into a paid opportunity, or you're looking for a portfolio career or a bridge job, whatever it might be, there are so many options. And as I always say, options equal freedom. So if this is your story right now, like I said, I can help you get to that next level, right? And all you got to do is reach out so you can stop suffering in silence and doing this on your own and trying to Google your way to success when none of it's working so far. Like, think about the cost, what it's costing you to not get the help. Do you know what I mean? When you get help from a coach, you shortcut your way to success. You cut through all the noise and the BS, and you just get straight to it. Okay. So don't wait, don't procrastinate, don't hesitate. You've got to get the help when you need the help. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I want to just share, excuse me, a quick personal story with you. When I first got laid off for the very first time, I got to take you back to 2018 in order for you to understand how this happened. And I'll make it real short and sweet, and just so you know, because I always like to share stories here on my channel, just because I want you to see yourself in me. And I want you to really know that I know firsthand what it's like, and I relate to your problem right now. I know it is a pain in the butt to be going through this. It hurts, right? It really does, especially Gen Xers who are suffering the most right now. But it's happening to millennials too, and Gen Zers, right? And so this is applicable to you as well, even though the women I cater to are women over 40 and Gen Xers, right? But this can apply to your situation right now as well. So I was hired for a regional director position for a Fortune 500 company, well-known company. You would know them if I named it, but I won't name the company in this video. But I was hired as an interim regional director and a healthcare administrator for this company. This was 2 years into, I had just started my online coaching and consulting company, Shared Visions by Katwa, which I'm still running to this day. I own and operate a business, and I'm 9 years in as a coach and consultant. working with both the consumer and large corporations that are like laying you off right now, okay? Because I decided that there were so many companies out there that even though I didn't want to be a W-2 employee, I definitely could help as a consultant, but I digress. So back to the story, I was working as hired for a regional director position. And I got hired and handed like a plate full of inherited problems, okay? And they wanted me to basically be the cleanup woman, which till this day I'm known as. Now, they didn't say this obviously to my face. This is kind of what I'm saying after the fact, right? I was like, y'all just want me to come clean up the mess you made. And I'm not going to be your savior when I already see the ship is sinking and I'm not going down with the Titanic, okay? So basically, long story short, I refuse to give them I refuse to give in to their obnoxious request and their unrealistic expectations, okay, without going into too much detail. And so for me, my piece was non-negotiable, period, point blank. I had already been there, done that, right? I already been in positions where they owned me practically. I neglected my needs. I neglected my family's needs. I sacrificed a lot, and I was not willing to sacrifice my soul and sanity or compromise my health and happiness. That was just that. So I said, listen, why don't you consider outsourcing these problems to a company who has the capacity to deal with these problems and stop putting stress on me and the leadership team altogether and the employees as well, okay? And give the problems to a company who could fix what's broken. And so without me knowing it and without me being a part of the conversations, even though I'm the one who made the suggestions, they did just that. They actually took me up on my offer. And then they brought us all to the table, my team and I, and laid off my entire department. So I know, and that was effective immediately, by the way. They didn't even give us, they gave us a little bit of a severance pay and then they just let us go effective immediately. Collected the badges, the keys, the everything we possessed in the moment that they delivered that news. So I know firsthand what these corporations are like, how doggy they can be, how disheartening the situation can be, because I was a part of that, right? And what I learned from that situation is that you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready, okay? I, by then, had already gone through this once before. So I had already started my business, as I mentioned shortly ago. And I had already written a best-selling book. I was already on a speaking tour, right? I was already on a book tour. I was already partnering with bigger brands. And so I was getting in front of bigger audiences and building my brand, my company, my reputation. And so I was not overly concerned. In fact, I laughed in their faces and gave them all the stuff that they asked for with no problem and walked out with my head held high. Okay. And I want that for you too. It was an empowering moment for me because I was ready. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so, but there are so many companies. I feel like I'm getting whitewashed by the whited out by the sun here. So we're going to wrap this up soon because this video was already longer than I anticipated it to be. But I hope so far this is something that is of value to you and that you'll share it with others who can really be blessed by it as well. But so many companies are like this, especially again in this current economic climate, who are terminating employees left and right. Okay. So even if it hasn't happened to you yet, you want to make sure you are well prepared and not ill prepared for when it does, because it inevitably will. Because I can tell you, being partnered with companies like Adecco and Respiris and LHH and others, I promise you, I know what's going on in the background. Okay. I know what's going down in the background because I get to be behind those black curtains and they are not telling you until it's too late when they're handing you the pink slip and telling you, sorry, so sorry, but we've got to let you go. Right. And it's a shock to you, but they've been planning for months what they were going to do and when this day was coming. Okay. So I know as somebody who has an HR background, who's worked very closely with HR as a leader. Okay. I was a leader for 20 plus years. I know what conversations are happening without your knowledge. So you're the last to know, right? And if you're the last one hired, by the way, you will be the first one fired. But there are massive layoffs going down. Now, I'm sure as of this recording, you know by now, and you may be an employee of one of these companies, but there's Paramount, there is UPS, there is Amazon, and a lot of others, a plethora of other companies like that, big names, household names, you know, who are letting a lot, thousands upon thousands and thousands and thousands of people go. Okay. But these companies are partnered with corporations that I just spoke about. So you might be eligible for an outplacement services. So do ask. Okay. I wanted to make sure it was something else that I wanted to tell you and it just slipped my mind. Well, I just want you to know, listen, this is more than just about getting another job. Okay. It's about getting back in the driver's seat and being the CEO of your life. Okay, that's what I want you to know. And that doesn't require you, by the way, to climb any ladder or to hit the proverbial glass ceiling like you're used to in corporate. It just requires you to take the wheel back and take charge, right? And become the CEO of your life. And you can do that today, just making one decision to do just that and reclaiming your power back so you can be in control of your life again. And because here's the thing that people don't think about, and I think this was also mentioned, if my memory serves me correctly. I don't remember which creator, the budget treasures or life in numbers, but one of them mentioned that they just recently got a job, and that's great. And I'm applauding you because I know, you know, and I think this was someone who did not want to be like a full-time content creator and not a business owner. That is fine. It doesn't really matter what you're pursuing, but you should be pursuing something, because the reality is it can happen to you again and again and again, as was in my case. So I wasn't just laid off first or once, right? Once it happened to me the first time, it literally happened to me about 6 to 8 times in a short span of time with different companies. So yes, you can get hired again, and thank God you did, okay? But you can also get laid off again or let go again. And will you be prepared? That's what I'm saying. So you always want to have another option in your back pocket, because as I always say, options equal freedom. So diversify your portfolio. Okay. So if you are a content creator, if you are a business owner or you know, an aspiring entrepreneur, I'm talking specifically to you. Make sure that when the well runs dry in one area, you've got something else coming in the other, right? To fill up the well again. You don't want to run dry, right? You want to have options. So no one is exempt, not even me. You are not exempt. It can happen to the best of us. Make sure you're prepared. Now, I want to say this. It is not my ministry to help you stay in a job or get a better job or another job or any of that. My ministry, my role, my obligation to you as a holistic business coach and freedom strategist is to help you get out of corporate America. I want to help you cut the cord for good. Okay. So if you're somebody leaving a career and wanting to start or grow a business, right? I'm your girl. But I also recognize that people are really hurting right now. Okay. Really hurting. And even if you are pursuing a passion project, or you are a content creator or an aspiring entrepreneur or a parallelpreneur or what have you, fill in the blank, whatever, you know, whatever is your case right now. What I can tell you for sure is it is hard to pursue the dream while you're drowning in bills, in debt, right? While the bills are piling up and you're trying to keep a roof over your head and food in your fridge and gas in your car, the lights on, you know what I'm saying? So again, this video is way longer than I thought it would be, and the sun is really shining. It's coming in this way and this way and this way, but it's washing me out. So hopefully you can still see me. As I'm looking in the camera, I see myself like kind of being erased here. Okay, so let's pick up the pace. Let me just give you 3 quick resources. I've already mentioned one. That's my Freedom and Focus Clarity Call. Okay, If you need help mapping out your options and regaining momentum and confidence, get on this call with me. I've already said enough about that earlier, so I don't need to go over and over and over again with that resource. But I also want you to watch the video that I spoke to earlier. Okay, just want to quickly remind you. What was it? Oh, the bridge jobs and portfolio careers. Watch that video. I'll make sure that it is in the pinned comment as well, or better yet, I'll make sure it pops up right at the end. So as this video is over, then you'll be able to go and watch that video immediately, okay? And lastly, if you are ready for a deeper transformation, if you are over these jobs, okay, and you are of the age of 40 and beyond, and you're like, you know what, I'm done, like for real, okay? Because this situation that I'm in right now put me in a whole debacle, and I don't want to ever go back. If you're like me and you never want to look back, definitely get on a clarity call with me and let's talk about other ways in which I can support you, okay? Because right now I am offering a group coaching program that I will tell you more about. I don't need to go into the details here necessarily, and I don't have the time. But if you're ready to build a business with purpose, one that is sustainable, real structure, a support system, a very strong support system, and you want to get into sisterhood and community, and you want to know what those strategies are, and you want a sustainable lifestyle and real support, then you would definitely want to get on a call with me to see if you qualify for the Legacy Leaders Lab. Okay, now, girl, I know this video was long. That's my time. I'm going to tune out while you tune in. Be sure to share this video out with at least 3 friends and watch the next video that YouTube recommends, okay? As always, and until next time, I am wholeheartedly in this journey with you. Bye for now.